Hello and welcome to the Fan Schmoedown End of the Year Wrap Up. I'm your host, Chris Skywalker Dohmen.
Yeah, I am Kees the Assassin Cornelisse, the question writer of the group.
And I'm Evan DeGraff. I'm the guy who makes the graphics and does the rankings. The guy that everybody's allowed to get mad at if they don't like where they're ranked. At Nate Wallace. Okay, so I want to have I think this is needed. Let's talk about what happened on the night where everything went to crap the bed. Chris, you can explain it from what happened in your eyes first.
Oh boy. Well, first off, that was a night that I worked both of my jobs, so for me to, while at work, see that, basically for one day the page turned into Ball Bag City, where everyone was smack talking, but in argue at least for me the most disrespectful way. And people were getting personal. People were literally talking shit about people's handicaps and people's ideology and people's personal lives. I'm like, no, that's not how we are. That's not what we do. At least in my book, what makes the smack talk of the real Schmoedown League so great is that they keep it vague enough to where it still seems like it's genuine smack talk, but they're still respectful to their opponent, and that was not happening. So I stepped in, and that's how we currently have the rules that are now in place.
Case, how'd you see it?
Well, for me, it's like people like to type things that they just can type, and they don't really think about the consequences. So everyone was just typing. Everyone just was jumping on the bandwagon, like, oh, Chris Day made a stupid video, let's call him out for it. And it's like, guys, sometimes you gotta realize what you're typing, that it actually means something. So it went way too far, and yeah, I already posted a video about it, and I think most people know what I think about it.
Yeah, for me that night, it's kind of like eye candy, because you see something and then you become really invested into it. You're like, wow, this is really good, but then once you take a step back and realize this is not good, this is humans attacking each other. At the surface, it's a good idea because you have two people going at each other about their movie trivia, but once you actually dig into it, those two people going at each other as humans, not because of movie trivia, but because they're two humans going at each other. I think that's where the line needed to be drawn. And we're going to briefly discuss him not too long. Chris Day, he's kind of back on the uprise, he's taking a small break, but he has a big match against Matt Beer coming up. He has, he's about to, if he beats Matt Beer, he will be the number one ranked in the league. What does that mean to you, Chris?
Well, I'm not happy because the son of a beat me in a bullshit question, but at the same time, though, it's not to say that he hasn't earned it if he does go 2-0, and the guy knows his stuff, that he watches seriously like 2-3 movies a day. The fact that he is as knowledgeable as he is, it would not surprise me that he does so well. And yeah, like I said, my personal bias aside, if he does, then he's earned it. Simple as that.
Yeah. Case, as the number 2 ranked contender in the league, how does this make you feel?
Well, if he wins, then I'll be the number 3 contender. But really, it's like if he wins, of course, he earns it. Probably, at least. Like he earned his victory against Chris Dohmen, and if he wins against Matt Beer, I think he'll earn that. So if he is 2-0 at that point, I'm like, okay, I gotta go 2-0 then to take him over again. So yeah, that's really all I can say about it. And if we are both 2-0, well, something can happen. You don't know what.
Ooh, you never know. That would be interesting.
with Chris Day, we all know what he was. And I think he's coming back on the uprising. He announced himself as Chris the Executioner Day somewhere on the page. I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere. But he hasn't really made that official yet. All the same, though, he knows his stuff, and that's what this is all about. At the end of the day, it's if you can actually know your movie trivia. And for what I see on his actual Facebook page, he does. So he's a force to be reckoned with. I have good awareness on him, and hope he does well. Now, back on the night, let's talk about just really briefly what happened between the mods and the admins, and kind of the falling apart of the Legion of Doom in one night. Kind of what uprised the league. Chris, you want to start?
Oh, you mean how I got pissed from being out of context about the shit talk that was going on, and I basically threw you guys under the bus? Yeah, no, let's talk about that for a second. Yeah, like I said, I obviously have a life outside of this league, one that is very time consuming and is, both good and bad, very stressful. So when
like the most of us.
Exactly. Rather than assess the whole situation before making a judgment, all I saw was just hate and hate and hate, and I said, no, I'm done with this. So, and obviously, since I have come out and apologized for my mistake, and I guess by cleaning up my act and suggesting that the rest of the league do the same, some of the guys in the league thought, well, this is too PC for me, and bailed. Well, here's the thing. I don't ever want to have that kind of night in the page again.
No.
So, if that means, yes, having to go a little PC, then that's the price that we have to pay.
I think what you're all saying there is completely true. Especially with the falling apart of the Legion Doom, I feel like now our page is almost brighter, more happier. Almost happier is a weird word to use when talking about a Facebook page, but you kind of know what I'm saying. Case, what do you think?
Well, the thing is that before that night, a lot of people were wanting to play the heel because everyone, for some reason, loves to play the heel. And in the end, if you look at the actual Schmoedown, there are a few heels that can play it well, but it's not everyone. There are a lot of people who are different characters, different actual people as well. So it's like, we need to tune down the fact that we have so many heels, and I think that after that kind of happened already, like a lot of people already were like more peaceful, more like actual good people, instead of like you all and this is I hate everyone and I'm gonna win everything. Everyone was being a heel, and that needed to stop, and I think that already started, so that's a good step in the right direction, and I hope it will continue, and I hope that we'll just have a fun league like the actual Schmoedown with some heels and some other characters.
Definitely agreed. I do my best whenever I see a heel or, see a one that's trying to be a heel and, not actually doing it in full fruition. I just kind of back out and kind of ignore it because we have so many of them. It's like, okay, whatever. But I think, as most of y'all know, we have three admins and 2 mods right now. Before that night, we had 3 admins and 4 mods. The only mods right now are Case and I. We're staying true to the league because we want to see this grow. We're excited for it, and that's what we got. So each me, Case, and Chris and I, we all made best lists: best match, best competitor, and best personality. Let's start with the best match. We'll end with you, Case. Chris, you start.
Surprisingly for me, for the best match, I actually have to say it's Kyle Durant versus John Stowell. Even though, yeah, sure, it didn't go to round 4, that match for me, though, especially when I was recording it actually felt like both competitors really, well, obviously both of them know their stuff. Both of them really brought their game. And it was a strong debut for both players. I mean, yeah, sure, did Kyle lose? Yeah, he did, but he didn't go down easy. I mean,
12 points, I'm pretty sure.
11, but yes. But, you know, pretty much most of his questions he got correct. He only missed one in the first round, as did Jono. Second round, yeah, it did screw him. But, you know, to be fair, he got a couple steals off Jono, too.
Yeah.
And the third round, he got the first 5-pointer in the IMDb round since I got mine in the first match of the league. That's an accomplishment. You know, because literally no one else outside of, well, Jono for the win, Kyle, and myself have gotten the 5-pointer in the third round. So that alone is like, okay, yeah, it was very back and forth the whole time, so that's why it was my favorite.
I think my favorite was the Kees and John Macy match. That match for me, when I was listening to it, it was like, Kees got lucky. And I think he's willing to say it too. Getting Star Wars, you know, I mean, but I think that was the first time, and will probably be the only time for a while, where someone actually runs the table in the second round. It was really cool to see. And then what was even cooler was John Macy was putting up a fight too, and you could tell that he knew his stuff as well. And they were both talking smack during the match. So that for me has definitely got to be my favorite match. Now, how about you, Kees?
Well, thank you for including my own match. And the thing is that I don't want to include mine, but you guys kind of took the other ones. Like Chris took the one that I really wanted to say, because Jono versus Kyle was really the best match that I wasn't in. But for me, the match against Currents, the Star Wars match, that went to a tiebreaker, I was so nervous. I mean, holy, I'm not gonna curse, but wow, that was really something to be in myself. So that's one of my best one of the best matches for me.
Well, I was saying that's totally fair, because that was hands
that was
down
intense.
The closest match that we've had thus far.
So next is we have competitor. I think hands down all of us can agree that Jono is the best competitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just want to throw out a dark horse that even though he lost a match, he is good. He knows his stuff, and that's Matt Beer.
Matt Beer?
Yeah.
I think people are underestimating him.
I don't want to be mean, but Matt Beer only had 5 points his first Schmoedown.
That was a different format, and that was a totally different setup. I will make that argument all day, every day. Same thing with Dave, same thing with myself, and same thing with Ryan McClellan, because... Now, granted, this would be the worst idea we've ever had, but part of me almost wants to redo all 3 of those matches to match our current format and see how we would do, but I'm not going to do that.
Because we would have to re-ask the same questions in order for it to be a perfect experiment, but that means they already know the answers to those questions, so we can't necessarily do that.
Yeah. So.
Continuity.
Exactly.
But what Jono did, I mean, man, 15 points. He made it so he didn't even have to answer a 4th round question. He had 3 out of the 4 points, 7 out of the 8. And then 5 out of 5. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
Well, it's not yet Bibiani, but it's close.
Yeah, I'd say, well, he's the McQueenie of the league.
Hey, man, I'm just saying, Jono is one heck of a competitor. All right, so our last best of the year or season so far is we have a personality. Who's the best personality in the league? Chris, we'll start with you.
We actually have a few to choose from. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but only because in my book, he had the best smack talk video. I have to say the Warrior.
Calgren.
Because that one freaking video where he just played it so cool, so perfectly, and and even though the glasses taking off at the end was so cheesy, it was so perfect. Like, no, that's how a warrior is portrayed. And I'm like, you know what? And of course, a lot of the comments he makes are totally funny. So I love having him in the league. He's obviously a great competitor. I hope to see him succeed in the future.
All right, my favorite. I think the best personality in the league by far is Simon. I mean, let me talk about this guy real quick. First, he had a bunch of smack talk with Chris A. I mean, he took a beating. That man was getting borderline abused. And then all of a sudden he goes, you know what? I'm going to post a video. It was one of the... a live video. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. And the way how he just went on and on and on, he goes, you know what? I'm just going to end it. And then he ended the video. And then he posted another one, which is just as good. And then to find out that this guy has a match coming up against one of our admins, Harvey, just elevates it even better. Simon is the best personality on this page.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that. Based on the videos that we've seen, the issue is that we now talked about two good personalities. We haven't seen a whole lot from the rest of the league. So what I like to have is, like, when someone has a match coming up, this is a request to the entire group. When you have a match coming up, make such a video, and don't be afraid to film. I mean, everyone fills. We can help you. The mods, the admins, we can help you with making such a video, or you can even contact like a Simon or a Kyle. They ought to know it, how to do that. And I just want to see more guys make a video, or girls if they are competing, because I know there are some, like, make a video, put yourself out there, show yourself, and don't be afraid of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. So, Chris, I'm gonna hand this part over to you.
Okay.
What do you see happening in our future?
Outside of, having a wider range of competitors, outside of having a wider appeal, outside of, just, I'd say, the initial group, I do want to see this thing grow. I do want to see more and more members. I want to see some more support from outside, not necessarily competitors, just people who just want to support the group.
Oh, so Kees, moving further into this, discussion, what do you want for the future, or who do you think can be some possible, like, really, really great competitors in the league?
Ooh, that's a good question. We've seen a lot of people talk. I want to see people talk a little bit less and do some matches under their belt. And at one point, you're going to have a competitor that is going to have a few wins, more than the rest, and then you can have something like a champion, like the actual Schmoedown. But that's down the road somewhere. I don't know when we are going to do that sometime.
But who specifically do you think that scheduled has a really good shot of being a really strong competitor?
Well, Jono is one.
Jono.
Take one. And I just want to see more people in this league compete. I want to see more from people that we haven't seen anything from. Like, a lot of people that I said, a lot of people talk, but the question is, can they back it up? And I want to see people back it up.
Well, I think specifically for me, there's a guy out there named TJ Pellin.
Oh, yes.
He's the guy who you see with all the Finstock masks on and whatnot.
Finstock wannabe, as I like to call him.
But here's the catch. The guy does a Schmoedown in his own little neighborhood.
As I call it, his little tea party with his friends.
But I think what that means, though, is he has practice doing it compared to the rest of us. What could that embark for the future, you know? Chris, what about for the future? What else do you want to see out of the league?
For the future, oh god, there's actually quite a few people I think could really make a dent. Frank Janisch and Paul
Agreed.
Wolf, I think, could both be great competitors. I really don't mean to kiss my own ass here, but I think with the current format, all y'all better watch out.
Okay. All right.
But another guy, who, you know, in case you brought up a great point, he's a total dark horse, Matt Beer. And I'm saying this from my own personal experience fighting against him in Chris Day's fan movie fights. That dude knows his stuff. And I've beaten him twice. I've beaten him twice. But to be fair, it was not a knockout in a situation. It was as close as you could get.
And to be fair, it was movie fights and not movie trivia. So there is a difference there.
There's a difference, but like I said, the dude still knows his stuff. So
Yes.
So, Chris, is there anything that you want to say about the future?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I want to see more people get involved because every single match Schmoedown League that's happened thus far is building up to something. That something is a little something that Harvey, Ryan, and myself call the ultimate fan Schmoedown. Currently, the plan is for it to be a 9-week tournament starting the first week of June, where we take the top 12 competitors and 4 wildcard opponents and 4 wildcard competitors, and we pit them against each other to see who is the ultimate fan Schmoedown champion. Now, how will this entirely work? I'll be honest. We haven't worked every single detail out yet because it's still
So far away. Yeah.
Exactly. And I can tell you this, we will have a prize outside of just bragging rights, but we haven't worked that out yet either. But to be fair, that's a detail that we don't have to have right this second. All you guys have to know is that there is an end game for this league. That this isn't just a bunch of dorks doing movie trivia stuff. We are coming together to do something awesome.
I mean, to be fair, it is a bunch of dorks just doing movie trivia.
Trying to make it sound better. Come on now.
We're trying to make it better than it sounds. Stop degrading us, Evan.
I'm
Please.
sorry. I just can't.
Otherwise, it seems that I'm a really, really, really pathetic dude. Which I am, but I'm not. I don't want to admit that.
But I am super excited, nevertheless. I think this is an idea that I've heard, has been teased for a while now, and to, officially say that there's something going to be happening is fantastic. Casey, got anything to add on to that?
Yeah, no, I think it will be fun. We have some time. We will have to work out all the details. But when the time comes, I hope everyone's ready because it's going to be something.
On my show notes here, I have something listed as casual discussion. So I guess we can just kind of talk about the league, the play sets, and competitors that either you're annoyed by or, just in general.
Like this Chris Dohmen guy, he's just fucking shit at me.
I
know, I mean...
This fucking guy who keeps calling himself the, Dutch movie guy, or as I like to call him Darth Corny, like he called himself for a while.
I know, right? It's awful. But I mean,
this little shithead Evan DeGraff keeps putting me below Chris Day. I mean, what the man?
Exactly, with Evan DeGraff. I mean, the kid is 60 years old. What does he know about movie trivia?
I mean, this Kees Cornelisse guy, the only thing that this guy knows is Star Wars. That's all his life revolves around, is just Star Wars.
Well, yeah,
how is he supposed to answer like Pixar movies or horror movies if all he knows is Star Wars?
I do know my Pixar though.
But what I do want to talk about is Zach Sosland.
AKA the Scriptmeister.
That's pretty good. Oh, Lord.
So basically, this just comes back to that point. Like, guys, put a video out there, show who you are, and show that you actually mean something in this league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In case you got anybody that you need to call out right now while you got the time?
You know, the thing is that I've got a match against Mike Hanley coming up, and I could make an entire statement about how I'm going to win and whatnot.
He's solid.
Simple fact is, we are both 1-0. He had a good match. I had a good match. So I'm just going to look forward to that match, and may the best man win. And that's all I'll say about it.
Chris, what about you? Don't you have a match coming up anytime soon?
At the moment, right now, I actually don't.
Oh, you're unbooked. That's right.
I am unbooked.
You can challenge whoever you want.
I could challenge whoever I want. However,
but I do hear that you have beef with this guy named Paul Wolf.
Oh yes.
Well, here was the thing: is that forever in my heart will a small kernel of anger go towards the man who actually, thinks he could beat me. But let me actually get this out of the way right now. That was manufactured because now, little known fact, before this league officially started, Paul and I were originally meant to be the first match. Because after I'd seen Ryan Snelly and RB3, I'd hit Harvey up and I was like, hey man, I want in on this. How do I get in? He's like, well, I'm looking for a point for Paul Wolf. Do you want that match? I'm like, wait, Paul Wolf, like the Schmoeville podcast ex-co-host Paul Wolf? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, Jesus. But so then I hit him up on Facebook, and of course we were talking back and forth and being like, hey man, I'm glad we get to do this. But then some scheduling stuff came up, and originally I thought when Harvey announced there was going to be a league, I'm like, oh, well, now me and Paul can have our match. And then when it was announced that I would be facing Ryan instead, I'm like, oh, because admittedly, I still want that match. And
yeah.
what I think is going to happen is, because that was, just supposed to be another Fan Schmoedown that Harvey would put together, it's not going to be a scheduled match. It's just going to sort of be a Harvey special, more or less. Okay. Obviously, the guy is very busy, with his online teaching job, with the Schmoedown Rundown, and a couple of those other commitments that he's told me about. And obviously, yeah, it will be for league play, but it will be a Harvey special. So it'll just be at his availability, at my availability, and at whoever wants to host that one's ability. So
okay, so I think that kind of wraps up our discussion for today. Kees, where can people find you?
You can find me in basically all the Facebook groups like Schmoeville, the Movie Trivia Schmoedown group, which I'm a mod of. Simply at Kees Cornelisse. I'm on Twitter at Dutch Movie Guy, if you want to follow me. And I have a YouTube channel also called The Dutch Movie Guy, if you're interested in my movie talk soon things.
Chris, you?
Yeah, same thing. You guys can find me checking out the Movie Trivia Schmoedown page, the Schmoeville page, getting some bad ideas shot down horrendously. And you can find me on Twitter at my band, Last Shot Redemption, at LSARBandMN.
Y'all can find me on my Twitter at DeGraff11. You can very subtly find me on Schmoeville, and sometimes the Movie Trivia Schmoedown fan page, and then you can find me here as a mod at the Fan Movie Trivia Schmoedown. And then I also started a YouTube channel not so long ago. And I think that will wrap up for today. Hope all of you have a great holiday season, Christmas, New Year's, whatever you celebrate. and catch you all on the flip side.
Take care.
Peace out.